On the outside, this greenhouse in Gilford, New Hampshire looks unremarkable enough, but inside, botanical wonders abound, from colossal seeds to colorful orchids. But none of the exotic plants cultivated in this Granite State greenhouse can compare to Tilly the Titan, a rare corpse flower that has blossomed not once, but twice.
Hi, my name is Ricciardiello, and by profession I'm an oral surgeon, but my hobby is growing corpse flowers. This is the greenhouse I constructed in 2004, and predominantly in this greenhouse is just totally dedicated to corpse flower. If you're not familiar with a corpse flower, this is the corpse plant here. And it will produce what many people consider the largest flower in the world. It will produce a flower 4 to 10 feet high, 4 feet wide. And when it opens and blooms, it will produce a strong stench and odor. And that odor mimics decaying flesh. And that's the reason for the name corpse flower. Its origin is in Sumatra, part of Indonesia. When it flowers, it will bloom only approximately 1 day. In its life cycle, it actually starts from seed. It will produce a small seedling. The seeds are only about 3/4 to 1 inch in size. It will start off as a small seedling like this. From here, it will produce another stem that's slightly larger. These are actually considered leaves. And each subsequent growth will produce a slightly larger and larger leaf. Eventually, we'll get to this size. In the wild, it will grow approximately 20 feet high. The markings on this flower mimic lichen, so in the wild, the animals would avoid knocking it over. There's only been about 150 or plus blooms ever in the world, and each cycle, what it's going through, each successive growth cycle, it will get larger and larger, and eventually it will stop and totally die down to the ground, and then another cycle will start. In each of these cycles, what's happening is a large tube or a bulb inside the ground, and this bulb is producing more and more energy. And one day it will flower. It's just when that will flower is unpredictable. This is the corpse flower. What we're seeing here, the outer coating is called a spathe. The top portion is called a spadix. Underneath this plant is a large bulb, and that bulb is approximately 30 inches in diameter, weighing 225 pounds. It is from that bulb there's enough energy to produce this flower. This is approximately 2 to 3 days from flowering, and when it blooms, it will last only approximately 1 day. What will happen, this whole petal will open up, and the center spadix will actually heat up. When it heats up, it will volatilize sulfur compounds. That will produce a smell, and that smell will attract its pollinators. Those pollinators are bees and beetles that will come to it. And that's why it's technically a corpse flower, because those are the insects that normally would be attracted to decaying flesh. The color of the corpse flower is a deep maroon color, again mimicking what decaying flesh may look like. The size of it is unusual. It is thought that the spadix is this size to act almost like a smokestack. It will then therefore dispense the smell to a wider radius. During this heating period, the spadix will actually heat up about 10 degrees above ambient room temperature. It will go in waves, successive waves of cooling and heating, and that will produce the smell. It always opens up in the evening, late afternoon, and the strongest smell is probably late evening, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. And when it blooms, it will only last approximately 1 day. When this dies, the whole thing will just die down to the ground. It will sit for approximately 12 months in that range. After that, a new cycle will start with another leaflet or call it tree. And then more growth will continue to build more energy for the flower. And hopefully it will flower again. It took 5 years for the first one to flower. The subsequent one's flowering now is about 7 years old. So that was the challenge, and that was worth it. There are certain heights of corpse flowers. Some may only grow to 3 feet high. Some will grow actually almost to 10 feet high. We have been lucky to have about a 7-foot range, and that's about the highest in the United States. Has been about 8 feet 5 inches. So there's different types. This particular one here that we're growing is a very, very large one. It's very large in bulk, but it certainly will not achieve a 10-foot height. It will probably only achieve almost 8-foot height, but the sheer size of it, the bulk of it, will make it very impressive. The bath is 65 inches, and 88.5 inches high. There's one offshoot of the number of corpse flowers we have. We have actually 28 corpse flowers to date. What we did, we brought one to the Laconia High School so they can actually see it. If you see it in person, to watch it grow, it's an exciting process. And the whole idea of these flowers that are very, very dramatic is to stimulate interest in botany, stimulate interest in flowering, in conservation. And that's the main interest, is that science is limited in this aspect we do here, but it's the sheer enjoyment and the sheer, amazement of what you're actually seeing that's worthwhile.
So it feels great to be here, though, to see this. It's very unique.
I think it's very cool. It looks like it's from the dinosaurs.
Well, I heard about it from Dr. Ricciardiello. I saw his other one, and I've been here to his greenhouse before and seen Tilly, the first Tilly, and that's how I heard about it.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. The size of it, the colors, texture. It's quite amazing, and that it only blooms once for just a few hours. It's amazing.
It definitely doesn't look like anything that you would normally see in New Hampshire, and the colors you can't really even describe, and the way that the lighting is, it's like walking into something that you would never see before, or maybe again.
You can't really describe its beauty. It's breathtaking, really. It's just incredible. Nature's full of surprises.
It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's amazing to see something grow so large, and the whole process. It's pretty amazing.
I think it's cool with the little stick in the middle and how it's performed.
I've actually been to view several of them when they're blooming. I was very fortunate to have access, and I'm absolutely amazed each time. And this time I'm just absolutely overwhelmed over the enormity of the flower and the beauty of the flower. And of course the rather pungent odor. And my granddaughter is very impressed as well, she said.
The smell, no, it's not a big deal. I don't think you really think about the smell when your eyes are on, that kind of a flower. So we're very impressed. It's great.
I was okay with it. It just smells like trash.
As far as the smell, no. You need lots of Vicks or a mask or something, right?
There's definitely a smell there. I never smelled a corpse, so I don't know what a corpse smells like. So if I had not known it was called a corpse flower, I would just think it's just a very strong smell, especially when you get very close to it. And it sort of fills the whole greenhouse now.
I had heard rumors that it smelled like rotting flesh, and I was pleasantly surprised. It only smells as bad as cabbage. That's what I think it smells like anyway.
It is very pungent, but it doesn't bother me.
It was very, very pungent.
Yeah.
Dead flesh and stinky.
If you let meat on a counter in my brother's room after a hockey game. Oh, horrible.
In terms of what do we do after producing 28 flowers, where do we go from here? We're going to try some cross-pollination of some different species. We're always trying to improve the height, and we'll also start to get other corpse flower seeds and cross-pollinated. This particular species here, we're basically at a standstill in terms of the genetic background, so we'll need some cross-pollinations to try to improve the species to gain greater height. The tuber size that we have here, that particular tube is 225 pounds. Our largest in the greenhouse is 238. The largest in the world is 258. So we may have a shot at producing one of the largest tubers in the world. And we'll know that in about another year and a half or so.